impunity that we have witnessed in this country by embracing the principle of never again. Never again. By also putting memorializing, and through remembrance. We also aim to create mechanisms to support healing. And through our partners, seek to do compensation and restoration for victims, survivors, and communities. Ladies and gentlemen, I was merely to introduce, because we will be doing a lot more, but for the avoidance of doubt, if it is not on the screen, Ben, is it on the screen? I wish to announce, since we intend to hit the road running, that we've set up a website for ease of engagement with the public, through which we will receive petitions, representations, and other material, whether anonymously or otherwise. Other programs will be announced by, I don't know whether is it on the, it's there, eh? Very well, thank you very much. Other programs which we intend to undertake will be communicated by the other colleagues with whom we've taken the oath of office, because we intend to hit the stage running. So that was merely to give you the approach that we intend to use. You'll be given staff relating to how we intend to address the culture of impunity, how we intend to carry out investigations, and preserve evidence. There will be measures which will be interim, and I wish to assure Kenyans that whatever they give us is so secure. We should not worry about certain mischievous activities that we have seen in recent times from government trying to interfere with things that are done in all spheres of governance. But we will not be limited to merely human rights violations. We intend to also deal with issues that relate to state capture, as well as institutional corruption. And I just want to give some small example here as I sit, that in the 8th Parliament, some effort was made, led by the Honorable Musikari Kombo. Of course, when, as you all know, KANU was whitewashed, that report, which had what we used to call the list of shame. When KANU was whitewashed by NAC in the elections of 2002, the efforts led by the Honorable Musikari Kombo gave rise to two very key pieces of legislation that are still in force today in Kenya, but very, very sparingly used. One, of course, we know because we have the EACC, they always pretend to be doing this or the other. But there's a key governance legislation that came out of that effort. The Public Officer Ethics Act, number 3 of 2003, alongside the Economic Crimes, Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act, the ASECA. We intend to give effect to these laws because we believe if everybody inculcated what is and practiced what is in the Public Officer Ethics Act, we would see very little institutional failure brought about by endemic corruption in this country. With those remarks, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite the moderator to call the next commissioner. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Another round of applause for the chairperson. Thank you very much. Now, this function for today has been put together by a very young man called Ben. So if anybody ever imagined that the millennials, the Gen Zs and the Alphas are not ready to take over the reins of this country, you are in dreamland. They are ready. So Ben, please, just come so that people can recognize you. Ben, and then of course, this Ben. So the success behind today's function is this young man. And of course, he received guidance from the back office. I know I've caught you unawares, but it's important that people know. Just stand up from wherever you are. I know you don't want to be seen, but just stand up and wave. Just stand and wave. You can even cover your face, but stand and wave. We recognize you. So there was a team behind this young man who have put this function together. So thank you, Ben. We appreciate you, and God bless you. Let me now call upon 3 commissioners to make their statements very short, not more than 5 minutes each. And to start us off is Commissioner Aisha, followed by Professor Ogola, and we'll close that session with Senator Manzo. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Your Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka, The Excellency Eugene Wamalwa, Chairman Jubilee, Saitoti, all elected leaders, Wakenya wenzangu, hamjamboni. Mine is to say today is an important day in this country because this country we've lived with burying the truth and running away from our past. Since independence, we've faced a lot of challenges, massacres, police brutality, corruption, a lot of pain, but we ran away because we want to move on and we want to assume that every time we will create a solution, the solution has never come. Kenyans are each and every day crying because of injustice, whether economic, whether legal, in terms of now what is happening from human rights to health to education. It's still an injustice. We are where we are as a country because of the culture of move on. And today we want to say we cannot move on because healing as a country is important. We cannot heal when, since independence, there's a lot of historical injustice, and even now it is coming through a new formation of abduction and killings. Today is an important day because we, the people of Kenya, are saying enough is enough, and I'm urging all Kenyans that this is not about today and tomorrow, it's about the future of this country, and that for once as a country, we will not run away from the atrocities that are happening, and we will not say move on. Today is an important day because it is the Kenyans who every day wake up to work and build a nation despite being wounded. Mental health is at the highest as a country. You cannot talk about education and health and other things when a woman is missing her child at home and she does not know what that child did. We have a crumbling police docket that instead of protecting Kenyans, they're the ones going for Kenyans. We are now degenerating to now having people hiring goons to come and attack another Kenyan. But you're forgetting that it can be your child you're attacking. It can be a sister or a brother. We are forgetting that these things continue to remain a scar. I personally recently lost my beloved father, and it doesn't happen on a normal occasion. For mine, it was a natural cause, but I can imagine you never understand the pain until you sit at the front seat. So there are millions of Kenyans since independence who've lost loved ones, and up to date, you're told move on. Up to date, there's been never a solution towards historical injustices. And if this generation that I am in, we keep quiet, we will also be blamed 5 years, 10 years, because we will have kept quiet at a time that we were supposed to give a solution to our motherland. Today I request Kenyans, this commission seated here is more than willing to work with all Kenyans from all walks of world. It is for you to help us by sharing through the website. Soon the chairman will announce more other platforms so that you can share videos, you can share petitions to enable us work. Today we are saying we will not sit and be quiet as our country goes to a different trajectory that we did not envision. We want a country where we are not suffering from mental health. We want a country where equality is there. And we want a country that no one is above the law. Because if you commit a crime, that is where there is judiciary. We also pray that institutions will not be caught up with corruption, intimidation, and that we will not have a corrupt judiciary, a corrupt police force, and other institutions that are key in this country. We are simply saying that today marks the start, that we will move as a country to accept we will not bury the truth, to also accept we need healing and restoration, but most importantly, there are people who must be held accountable individually for what they've done to our motherland. Because Kenya is me and you. Today, I want to say that it marks the beginning of a journey that as a country, we must not relent and we must not accept to continue the way we have been by covering what has been happening. Generations have come and gone. It is time for this generation to say enough is enough. We will not only investigate historical injustices, but even the current. But it is the people of Kenya who will share that information to enable us continue as a commission and work towards restoration and building a prosperous motherland that we call Kenya. Kenya ni home, asanteni sana.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to recognize the leadership from the United Opposition, led by His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka, and the commissioners led by very able chair, Honorable Justin Muturi. I want to say that there is no better day than this in Kenya. And Chair, had we done this on the eve of 25th last year, we could not be where we are now as a nation. So I'm looking at the audience and look so serious. Some of you have not seen someone smile at them the whole of the day. Please, can you smile at your neighbor at least to... Somebody might receive a smile or to get a chance to smile today at all. Because we look like we are mourning, but I'm sure there's hope. Chair, as you said, never again. The word never again is important. Allow me to say that the commission is quite interesting to me because when you saw Bishop Orowa praying, Bishop Oro, I remember the day there's a child who died in Kibra, in that river, and there was money for the so-called disaster response. There was no response. And I went to Kibra and made the sign of the cross, and I walked with people from Kibra without looking for police notice. We walked up to the Senate and met Senator Manzo. Senator Manzo, without appointment, welcomed us and gave some support. Nowadays, we don't say what they gave. They'll say themselves. He gave some support to the family, but took us through the offices, but still we didn't get the money. So I am standing here, people calling me the people's economist. That's how people are suffering. Because I want to speak just on economic injustice in Kenya. I want to say that economic crime is a problem everywhere in the world. But in Kenya, it's not just a problem. It is now a profound crisis. Crisis, you know, a problem is there. But when a crisis comes in, it's more serious. It has now posed existential risk to our nationhood. It is systematically diverting vital resources that should be used to bring good life to people, education and health. But not only that, it's also being used. Economic crime is being too subtle. Imagine someone takes money from you, then uses the money to suppress you with the very money. When I hear my brother John Buddy, that he's an expert, and he has increased budget, then tell you, you can't enjoy education or you can't enjoy healthcare without security. Yet, someone goes to Homa Bay, picked, then brought to Nairobi and killed. So, to really grow this economy. Secondly, the youth. These youths are very intelligent. Why they are dying is because of what they have between their ears. They are too. The only thing the one can do is to hit their head to death. And I was in the mortuary with my brother, late Albert Ojuang. They were hitting his head until they broke the skull to his brain. Why? The one who died on the street, to the brain. What is wrong with them targeting the brain? Why university education then killing people? So these are what I call economic crimes. And what I'm trying to say is that I dream of a world when youths will be so free that they can survive without someone's support. Because what is happening in Kenya, you must know somebody or worship somebody to become somebody. I'm sure young people, you can't accept this. I remember when I grew up, when I was in St. Mary's Hill at some point, when I came to the village, I went to say hi to my uncle who was high ranking. Then he told me, I am a son of nobody, so I can't talk to him because he's a son of somebody. So for us young people, I'm not very young, but I think I'm youngful or youthful. They say when you know nobody, you are a son of nobody, you know nobody, so you become nobody. This is what they want in Kenya, and I'm having the leadership of the chair. We will try to fight that. The economic crimes have made it difficult for the business community to do business because you have to know somebody and sing them. You have to sing them unless you become professionally handicapped. If you look at the guys singing the current administration, they are very intelligent. But if they don't sing the current administration, their professionalism is useless. I'm sure we don't want to have that world. And our country is slowly gliding into hopelessness. Gen Z says, the fear is gone. You heard that, ladies and gentlemen? Dignity, human rights, constitutionalism, and the rights is what is. Only one who has nothing to lose loses fear. A rich man cannot sleep outside a house on the street because they have something to lose. So after being ripped off your all economic benefits, ripped off dignity, Reap of lies, what do you fear? You fear nothing. So when you hear young people saying the fear is gone, means we've taken everything from them. And that's why we need to restore. So the People's Restorative Justice Commission is here to restore hope. With time, we shall give you reason to hope again. The worst thing to be without is hope. Without hope, who can wake up? Tell me, if you don't have whether you can wake up, you have no hope there's this meeting. Well, how would you come here if there's no hope? So we want to ensure that victims will receive long-term support through a dedicated restorative justice fund. I was making a joke with my brother, Danson Manzo. When now MPs go to parliament and MPs are here, they want all kinds of funds. But funds to support people like Ojuang, they want it to be in donation. That must change under this leadership. Serious economic crimes, looting, sabotage, and state capture will be investigated and be prosecuted under the leadership of this commission. Recovered assets will support victims and rebuild our economy. We will also have to ensure we memorize these struggles so future generations to come will know the cost of injustice and vow what our chair says, never again. We'll even ask the public to take an oath, probably, that never again. Everyone might have to take this oath, Chair, as you said in our meetings, never again. We will make economic crimes so painful, but not profitable like it is now. And I go back again to my brother, expert, John Mbadi, who says that he's proposing a way on which if you steal money from Kenya, you can invest the money in Kenya. Making theft profitable. We will make it completely painful. That's what we want to bring across. So that, John Mbadi, we call it in economics, wisdom of fools, because used to steal from him, then give him back. That's the only fool thing that we call it thoughtless experts. I'm about to finish, so don't be bored.